Hello students, welcome to the third Writers Workshop, and this one is super important because we're going to do a little refresher course on basic APA format, and I'm also going to throw in here a little bit of information about writing a good title for your essay, because every essay needs a good title. You know, when you get into college writing, you have got to master at the very least the basics of APA format. You have a lot of resources at your fingertips in college, but unfortunately a lot of students are not following those basics, and so I thought we would talk a bit about those just to remind you. So, you know, if you want to go out and buy an APA publication manual, you can, but I really don't think it's necessary. But just for your information, APA stands for American Psychological Association, and they do put out a manual that has everything you would ever want to know about APA formatting. I don't think that most students need that. Especially in a master's or a bachelor's program. But you do need to know the basics, and that's what I'm going to be covering in this writer's workshop, and then a little bit more in another one. 90% of what you will need in regarding APA format I'm going to be covering in the writer's workshop. So, but I do want to make you aware that there is an actual organization that they do put out a publication, and in most college courses that are part of really anything outside of the humanities. So your business courses, psychology courses, leadership courses, all those types of courses are certainly going to require APA. So in terms of just the basics, these are just things that as a college student you must know and remember. First of all, you want to be using Times New Roman font, size 12, and you use it for everything in the paper. Sometimes students will want to make the title a little bit bigger or something like that. No, everything's a 12. Everything is double spaced in APA, everything. Sometimes students will want to put extra space between, say, where the title is and when you start your paper, or they'll want to single space something. No, everything is always double spaced. So in those two regards, it's really easy because it never changes. Times New Roman 12, double space, all the time, everything. Nothing is bolded in APA format if you're just talking about basic APA format, and nothing is underlined, okay? You do want to have 1-inch margins except for your header, your running head, and your page number, and we're going to show that here in a minute where that goes. But generally speaking, you're going to be using 1-inch margins. All right. So here is a sample APA title page, okay? So first of all, notice, you know, and if you do not know how to set this up in Word, I will tell you, you can easily just search for, you know, just search for something like directions for how to set up an APA paper, and you will see all kinds of things pop up, and you can just print one of those handouts out and keep it right there on your desk until it becomes just habit. But if you do not know how to do that, in Word, you need to make sure that you know how to set up an actual header so your page numbers and your running head are correct. So that's what it should look like. In the top left corner, you will have a running head. Notice running head is capital R, lowercase h, then you have a colon, space, and then the first few words of your title should be in all caps. Notice your page number then is on the right side there, and if you set up your paper correctly in Word, it will automatically change your pages, and you will be able to get rid of those words running head on your second page because that only goes on the title page, the words running head. After that, you will just have the actual first few words of your title, and we're going to look at that in just a moment. But if you don't set it up correctly in Word, your page number will always be the same, or the words running head will be on every page of your paper, and that's wrong. So that's why if you don't know how to do that in Word, you need to find yourself some directions. It's very easy, but it also has a few steps that you got to follow. Notice what is on an APA title page. I grade papers all day long, and students have a difficult time remembering the three things that are on an APA title page. It's the title of the paper, it's the student's name, and it's the name of the university, in this case, Belhaven University. So that's it. Sometimes students will put the title of the course, sometimes they'll put the date, sometimes they'll put the professor's name. None of those things go on an APA title page. It's just three things: title, student name, university name, and notice it's all double spaced, okay? So that's, I tell you, if you can just get your title page right, that's a step in the right direction, because students will a lot of times just not have that done correctly. So the responsibility is on the student to make sure that that is done correctly. Then the first page of your actual paper. So let's start up with the running head. Do you notice that the words running head have now gone away, and all you are left with is the actual title, the first part of your title there in all caps. Again, if you set up your paper correctly, the words running head will go away, and you'll be left with that, and that'll be on every page. So again, that's why that's important. So notice on the first page of your actual paper, you have to have your actual title, full title, centered again on the first page of the actual paper. And then you'll have it set up for double spacing, and then you will start your first sentence. Notice it's indented there. Okay, so that is what the first actual page of your paper should look like. Again, I look at a lot of papers. Sometimes students don't have the title there, all different types of things. Okay, so make sure that you're getting the basics right there. And again, I'm telling you, if you can just get this part of APA down to a T, your professors are going to appreciate that, because this is one of the real basic foundational things, is just getting the title page and the formatting correct. Okay, now obviously we're going to be getting into other things like citing sources and things like that in another writer's workshop, but this is really important, and I will tell you that it's not uncommon to see students not have their title page or the first page of their paper formatted correctly. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about a good title, since we're kind of talking about titles in this writer's workshop. Every essay needs a title, and I'm going to give you some examples of what not to do, and then a little guidance about what direction you want to take. First of all, you never want to use something like paper number 1, okay? That is not a good title for your essay. Or something like my illustration essay. No, you don't want to use that either. That's just the name of the assignment, okay? Now, what about interview techniques? Well, that's better, because at least now as a reader I know what the paper is generally going to be about, but it still is not directly related to a point that you're going to make in your paper or something specific. So notice the one at the bottom there, interviewing techniques in the human resources field. It's expanded enough that the reader's going to know what the paper is about. It's specific, it indicates the paper's main point. This is more what you're after. Okay, so every college paper needs a title, and it should be something related to your topic and your main point. All right. I do want to make sure that you do have an online resource for APA format. The one that we use at Belhaven quite often is Purdue University's OWL website, and they have an excellent online APA resource. I'm giving you there the address for it that you can use and go to it directly, or you can just search for Purdue OWL APA and it'll pop right up. But if you want essentially an online manual for APA that's going to show you everything that I'm talking about, but even deeper. That is an excellent one that you can rely on. So hopefully today, I know it's been just the basics of APA, but like I said before, the basics are important. If you think about it this way, the very first thing that a professor is going to see with your paper is the title page. And if the title page is not correct, the professor is going to make the assumption that the rest of the paper probably isn't formatted well either and correctly either. And even if it is, it still just doesn't present a good first impression. That's why you want the title page and the first page of your paper to be formatted perfectly according to APA, because what that communicates to your professors is that you took the time to do it right and you acknowledge that that is what a college paper is supposed to look like. So I really want you to get that right. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you in the next Writer's Workshop.